Everything about these lakes is just intoxicating and makes you want to be here. Just makes you feel good to be here. But we've been damaging these lakes and causing harm to the water quality for 130 years. And so it's taken us a long time to get to the point where we are.
The value of water. So it's a call to action piece, and it really gave insight on the current toxic status of most of the US lakes and how these treatments could have a positive effect, how it could create change. And it was a very informative conversation about ways to induce this change for future solutions. And I feel like I left this documentary having more information and being enthused about what the possible next steps are.
This was a really well done and informative documentary. It packs a lot into a short time frame. It's important and topical. I think the the conservation of fresh water is very important right now, especially as environmental protection regulations get watered down even more. It's important to discuss and make aware, issues affecting clean fresh water. And this documentary just does a great job at, pointing out one particular isolated area of interest, taking us through what's going on there, steps, to help mitigate, and, just really informative, great viewpoints from a lot of, experts and people local to the area who, had great stories to share. And it's just all constructed really well and thoughtfully, and just an enjoyable and informative documentary.
The value of water. I really, really appreciated this, and I really enjoyed watching this. They say in the film as well, but I think that water is often a resource that in our society on this planet, that a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people tend to take for granted because we all hear and we all get taught like the earth is like 70% water. And for a lot of people, again, not for everybody, because I am fully aware that this is not the case for everybody on the world, and in different regions things look very, very differently, and that like circumstances change drastically from one part of the world to another. All of that being said, I do think that a lot of people, a lot of societies tend to take water for granted because they have easy access to it, or relatively easy access to it. And I'm not just talking about water, like water that you utilize in your home, but also for places and countries that live on water, whether that's lakes, rivers, near the ocean, beaches. Like, I think people also take those water features for granted as well, especially if they're well maintained, especially if they have, a lifetime of memories associated with going and, being on the water, being near the water. I think that it is definitely something that people can kind of lose sight of, the fact that we do need to keep these things up, the fact that people in either park services or, whatever, like, work incredibly hard to make sure that, kind of everyday people don't have to think of these things. But I do think that it is important to remember that, these are natural things that come up, and like needing to, especially when you're talking about lakes and rivers and, natural water features, I guess, near where people live, or near where you live, or where you would want to visit and things like that. I think it's incredibly important to remember that there's an entire subset of science dedicated to studying these types of these types of environments, and what challenges they face, what, invasive species they have to deal with, what, potentially poisonous or, maybe not necessarily poisonous exactly, but what, toxins can, be found there or, can thrive there. And I loved their approach to it in Iowa. I loved that they spent the entire video highlighting the ways that a lot of people currently are attacking these problems and the differences in how in Iowa in this, with these particular 5 lakes that are all interconnected, how they have chosen to approach these same issues. And I thought it was really, really well explained. And the other thing I liked is that they also took into consideration and made a point in the film of including how people's memories of these lakes changed from when they were growing up to now they're older and in a different part of their life, and how they can see the difference and see the change, and like that is something tangible that people can kind of hold on to, and that they were trying to model a different way, show other people that like there is a different approach, and if you have the resources or you've seen it done, and like there's the proof right there that you can approach it differently, and you can use nature to help heal nature. And I thought it was really well done.
I really like the value of water. I thought it was very interesting subject matter. As far as like with the lakes, like, and it's definitely took me from somebody who knows nothing, has never even been to a real non-man-made lake, living in Houston, Texas, to understanding the deep science of lake pollution and the zebra mussels and how phytoplankton and algae affect food production and all of like the deep science of it. Took me from 0 to 100, not 100, but like to a deeper understanding. I think that speaks to really good like documentary filmmaking as far as like explaining to the audience complicated subjects in an understandable way, um, in an interesting way that kept me engaged. I don't know anything about lakes. I never cared anything about lakes, and now I want to know everything about lakes and how to protect them. You know what I mean? So mission accomplished as far as what it seems like the intentions of this film are. So great job.